Hey everybody, Nick here with the Bridge Group. If you've been considering buying a property, then today's video might just be for you. We're gonna go over the top 5 mistakes that first-time home buyers make when purchasing their first home. Stay tuned. All right, mistake number 1 that I see a lot of people make is they start looking for a home before they're actually pre-approved. This is a big mistake that a lot of people make, and I think a lot of people get really excited. They want to just go and start looking at houses, but the problem is it can result in a lot of wasted time if you're not pre-approved. Here's why. When you talk to a local lender, and I do recommend talking to a local lender who is here in Houston, is familiar with the area, is familiar with the tax rates, is you talk to them, they answer all of your questions that you have about mortgages, about loans, about the terms, how they work, how payments work, all that fun stuff. Then also, they're gonna tell you exactly what you qualify for as far as your purchase price, what your buying power actually is. And you can work with the lender to talk through what monthly payments you're comfortable with so that way you know exactly what it would take and how much you can afford, so that when we go to start looking at houses, we have some guidelines that we can work within so that we can narrow down and find the perfect house for you and your family. Don't make the mistake that a lot of buyers make by not getting pre-approved before they start, getting all the way down to finding that perfect house, getting ready, okay, let's go talk to a lender, get pre-approved, and we actually can't afford the house that we want. That's such a letdown, and there's no reason to put you and your family through that when you fall in love with a home. Instead, go and look at homes when you know what you can afford, so that when you find the one that you want, you can put in an offer and be rest assured that you can afford it and that you qualify for it. All right, mistake number 2 that I see a lot of people make is they're just a little bit too picky when it comes to finding a home. Now, I don't want you to hear me saying that you should just compromise on everything and buy some house out there, and I'm pushing you to just buy something. Absolutely not. What I'm saying is, if your laundry list of items is 100 things that your house has to have, I'm sorry, you're probably just not gonna find a house that has all of those things, and you're gonna be looking forever. Instead, what I would recommend is come up with a list of things that are deal breakers. These are non-negotiables. These are things that your house definitely cannot have. Once you come up with a list of those non-negotiables, come up with a list of a few things that you definitely want in your house, and come up with some nice to haves. It would be good if it had this, but it's okay if it doesn't. So that when we go to start looking, you might find that actually the houses that you're seeing line up with most of your criteria. They may not be perfect, they may not have every single thing, but those are things that you might be able to add later. They might be able to be upgraded. And if at the end of the day, resale houses don't seem to have all the things that you want, then maybe the best option for you is actually to look at building a new home. It can take a little bit longer, but you do get to make all the choices for what you want it to look like. You get to pick the perfect plan. You get to upgrade and add rooms and remove walls, and you get to make a lot of changes that you just can't do without a lot of expense when buying a resale property. Mistake number 3 is not working with an agent who's a local expert. Now, there's a few pieces in here that I want to cover. One is the agent that you work with. I'm sure that you probably know 20 different real estate agents. It feels like everybody has their license. The problem is it's really easy to get your license. It doesn't really require any training. That leads to people who do not have expertise in their local market, who do not have expertise in real estate transactions and the process, and therefore they may not be the most qualified to serve you and your family in one of the biggest purchases you're ever going to make. Look, most people only buy a couple homes in their whole life. Me and my team at the Bridge Group, we sold over 100 homes in 2019 alone. That's a lot of transactions. That's a lot of experience that you get to rely on when you work with me and my team. So the first thing is working with a knowledgeable real estate agent who actually knows what they're doing. The second part of that is they should be a local expert. You might know somebody that's a real estate agent, and maybe they're even a good real estate agent, but they're in another town or another city, and they've offered to help you with this transaction. It sounds like a great deal. The problem is they might not be familiar with this area. They may not know where the best schools are. They may not know what traffic is like at different times of the day, what amenities certain subdivisions offer, what's around as far as shopping and grocery stores and things like that. Understanding and knowing the neighborhoods and the communities and the best places to live is something that you can't just Google, but it actually comes from experience and being a local person. And that's what me and my team at the Bridge Group are. We are local experts here in the greater Houston area. So make sure that you're working with somebody that not only you can trust to get the job done and they're good at what they do, but they actually know the area and can offer insight to help you make the best decision possible for you and your family. Mistake number 4, and this is a big one. Look, with the advent of all of these websites like Zillow that give you estimates on property values, we've seen a huge increase in people relying on these so-called Zestimates to have an understanding of either A, what their house could sell for, or B, a house that they're looking at, what they should purchase it for or what they should offer. The problem is that this a lot of times leads to what we would consider a lowball offer. The Zestimate is not necessarily going to be accurate. It's actually kind of funny, but the CEO of Zillow actually sold his own property for 40% less than what the Zestimate said that his house was worth. Instead of relying on that or emotions, rely on data and the facts. So how do we know what that is? Well, as a licensed real estate agent, I'm able to perform what's called a CMA, or a comparative market analysis. This is an analysis that I do where I look at properties that sold in the same area that are as similar as possible to the subject property in the last 6 months to a year, or 365 days. By comparing all of these homes and their features and how they compare to the subject property, I can give you what's called a market value, or what the market tells us that that property is worth because people were buying something very similar to that recently. And big mistake number 5, a lot of people get really scared when they look at home inspection reports, and they think that every single item in that 25-page report is a major problem and they're gonna lose all of their money on this house that has all these problems. I'm here to tell you, most of what you're gonna find on a home inspection report are not major issues, and they should not alarm you. A home inspector's job is to give you a report on every single thing that they can possibly find. That's what you want in a home inspector. You want them to be super thorough and give you every single thing that they can see in a property. The problem is sometimes that can scare people when they get a report and it's covered in all these red items. One of the things that I do for my clients is I actually review the home inspection report with my buyers, and I give them a rundown of the things that I think are important in my experience that should definitely be addressed. The 5 things that we actually want to care about, these are the major big 5, is going to be the roof, the AC, the foundation, the electrical, and the plumbing. If there are major problems with any of those 5, those are definitely things that we want to work on negotiating with the seller so that either the seller can fix them for us or they can give us a credit so that you can fix them on your own. Some of these are things you can fix on your own for $5 by going to Home Depot. All the other stuff that we're gonna see in that inspection report may or may not be something that's important for you to have fixed immediately. And every single resale house is gonna have a lot of things on that list. All right, everybody, those were my top 5 mistakes that first-time home buyers make. Don't let yourself fall into these traps. If you need guidance, you need assistance, you're considering buying a home in 2020, reach out to me. I would love to have the opportunity to work with you and your family and to show you how me and my team at the Bridge Group can help you get a great deal on your next home. If you like this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. I put out new content every single week. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. We'll see you on the next one.